think I'm just gonna stop trying to figure out the audio other than just using my webcam, and that's it, because that's the only thing that has been somewhat successful when I've been either on, or when I've been on TikTok, since I haven't done it on here, so. It's funny when you're trying to use different softwares and platforms and whatnot, and I'm using OBI, which is really cool. It's just, there's a lot. I just want to sew, and I want to sew with you. And I want you to hear it and see it. It's all good. Okay, all right, we are good to go. Now I wonder if I'm going to finish it in an hour. All right, but thank you very much for helping me troubleshoot. But this is what we've got so far. So this is one panel. We've got our pocket created. Pocket. Easy peasy. Now we're going to grab this other side and do the same thing. And I think sometimes I try to have too many angles and everything because I'm a visual person, so I really like to be able to see from all different angles if I'm doing something different. But sometimes adding too much can be a little bit much. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and back stitch here. I actually left this at a 4, which it's kind of decorative and construction, so it'll be good. It may be beneficial to do it a little bit smaller, like a 3 or a 2.4, but it'll be fine. I'm back stitching. Good. Yes, you got it all good. So where are you from, Rip It and So On? Do you do any videos here on YouTube? I'll have to look at your profile afterwards. I like the Rip It and Sew On. It's kind of the same mentality, I think, as my Sew with the Flow. I was trying to come up with a name, and I'm like, I really want a laid-back space where we can just sew, hang out, sew together. And my intention is going to be to actually share some of the announcements and stuff more in advance, but this time I just shared it on my Facebook private group and did it the first time. Wow, words are hard. I only posted in my private Facebook group this time around, and then I'll probably share more on the other platforms moving forward. But although I kind of like the idea of only sharing it in my Facebook group and then have the announcements on YouTube just as like, hey, coming up soon. I don't know. I want to keep it very simple. I don't want to have to worry about making a bunch of media stuff. I want it to be about the sewing. Austin, Texas. I love Texas. I haven't been to Austin, but we went to Waco. And when I say we, it was a bunch of the girls in my family. We do girls trips. Whoops. We do girls trips. Try to every year, but we went and did the Chip and Joanna Gaines town. It was really fun though. We had a good time. We got an Airbnb and we just all hung out and went to the silos and all of that stuff. So it was awesome. But what's there to do in Austin, Texas that I can look forward to? It'll be a location one day that we'll go. My husband and I love to travel. I like knowing about like good restaurants or what the food culture is. Speaking of that, what is like a known food for Austin, Texas? Like our friend in Indiana, he's like chili with noodles, and I'm like, ugh. No, thank you. They actually weren't that bad. He made us try them. It was good. I still don't think it's chili. It's more like goulash. Okay. There we go. All right, so that is the hard part. But look at, we're already done with it. So now what we're going to do, we're going to take our 2 side pieces and we're going to attach the bottom. So the way I like to do this is just plop one over there, plop one sure you can see it. And then we're gonna take our 17 by 13 and we're gonna do it like this. I'll show you. I know there's not a lot of room on here, but we're going to face them pretty side to pretty side. So this side will be here, and we're going to attach these two little notches, and then we're going to sew along this bottom part, and then we're going to do the same thing up here. We're going to do pretty side to pretty side, match those notches, and then sew all the way across at that 3/8 of an inch. And you're welcome to grab clips or pins. I usually will do just a few clips, hold it in place, usually right in the center where that little notch is, and then maybe a couple more. But it's very forgiving, very forgiving. Let's see. I never got into all the that Joanna stuff. Barbecue girl. This is Cattleland Longhorns. Oh, is the university mascot. Nice. So you can tell me where to get a really good steak then. I love steak. Hi, Mona. And my name's Tricia, if you weren't on it right at the beginning. I am in like Nashville area, so Tennessee. A little further from Nashville, but everybody knows Nashville. But we like to experience new places and new food. A friend of ours, we like to travel with several couples, and they are great about helping me experience new food. And so I've now experienced like sushi and Indian and Nepalese, was that what it was? And what else did he introduce? Oh, a Brazilian steakhouse. That was awesome. You talk about meat. Whew. He's like, don't you go in there having salad and all of that stuff. He's like, no bread, no salad. You need meat sweats. He's like, if you've ever gone, it's really cool. They give you a little card that either is like, yes, I want more meat, or no. And then they will come around and the wait staff will have like rack of lamb or different types of steak or different types of chicken or pork or whatever it may be. And they just feed you. Feed you and feed you and feed you. So it's pretty cool. I am changing the stitch length back down to 2.4 because this is going to be our construction stitch. So Austin, Texas though, Mona, where would you suggest going to get an amazing steak? I love me some steak. My husband's gotten pretty darn good with making ribeye. I love ribeye. That's my favorite. That's my go-to. And we also have a great butcher shop, so they'll cut it to what we like. And I don't have my close-up camera here, but you'll see, I don't know if you can see it very well. You can kind of see the blue stitch line from before. This was at 1/4 inch, so now I'm sewing 3/8 of an inch, so that's encased within it. So we are totally fine. We didn't even have to pull that basting stitch out. We're just gonna sew right along here at 3/8 of an inch. This thing's just kind of scooching. I'm not really doing any cutting. I probably don't even need that there. So what type of stuff do you like to sew, Mona? I've heard, and that's awesome. Alright, so here we go. We've got one side. We're going to press this in just a moment because we're going to go ahead and stitch this down, but we're going to attach this side first. So again, we're doing pretty side to pretty side, like these. And we're going to match those notches, clip it, and then sew 3/8 of an inch. And I can't stress it enough that it doesn't have to be 3/8 of an inch. Just maintain the consistency. That way everything everything will come together. But if you chose to do a 1/4 inch, that's fine. Your bag's just going to be a little bit bigger. Mine will be just a smidge smaller. You sew everything, quilts, bags, clothes? Awesome, same for me. That's great. I just got back into quilting, which actually was kind of funny because I had a quilt top that I started about 9 years ago. Close to 10 or close. It's gotta be anywhere in there. I put it in a box and put it in the closet and I completely forgot about it. Well, for the new year, I was like, I need to do like some deep cleaning and everything, so I was cleaning out the closet and I found my quilt top and I'm like, oh, I need to finish that. So then I finished that quilt and that was really enjoyable. So then I started another quilt, and that one I've been actually over on TikTok doing live, and we just hang out and sew the quilt. And I'm planning on doing that this afternoon, but my chiropractor would not be very happy with me because I've been having some hip issues, and when I told her yesterday that I was planning on sewing this weekend, she just looked at me and she's like, that's not great on your body. And I'm like, but I'm trying to be ergonomically accurate here. My arms are fine. I'm trying to like rest my shoulders, but it's actually my hip, so it is a little bit on the sore side. So I don't know if I'll be doing the quilt today or not, or if I'll have to wait till after church tomorrow. I think that might be better. Not risk it, because it was horrible. If you don't go to a chiropractor and you have ever had pain, I would highly suggest that you try it. I was telling her, I'm like, if somebody doesn't believe in chiropractic, then they need to experience something like this, because I was like nights of crying. I could not sleep. It was so uncomfortable, and she adjusted me 2 days in a row and gave me a lot of relief. So I'm like, but anyway, we're talking about sewing, not chiropractic, right? All right. What types of quilts do you like to make, Mona? I've done more of the basic ones so far. The one that I finished was actually my first quilt, but then I've done a few in between there. But I've got more of the simple ones. Actually, the quilt that I'm working on is right over here. That's gonna be a bad angle. I'm gonna stick my booty in the air. That's not gonna be pleasant. Let me switch the camera. I'm actually going over to the ironing station anyway, so I'll grab the quilt on the way. We can show it when we come back, and you can work on it with me if you have a TikTok account. Okay, so now that we are done with adding that, we're going to press this with the seam going inside here, because it's going to kind of tack that down. So I like to kind of pull it a little bit so it lays flat and then push it over. That seems to work pretty slick. And then I just do a light press from the top also. Do a little pull, little tug, tilt, and press. I didn't think this camera would bounce that much. Bounce, bounce, bounce. Sorry, hope I'm not making you dizzy. I guess I can do more pressing than sewing, pressing than ironing. We'll just kind of hold it down. You have a timer on me? Am I gonna make it? It just depends on how much I talk. I should say, finish a tote bag in an hour and 5 minutes. I'm gonna try not pushing it so much. There we go. This little guy is awesome. Okay. See, as you can see, I didn't cut my fabric perfect, and it'll be totally fine. show you here, Mona. Don't worry about me or hand sewing. So the camera views are not an issue. Oh, good. Oh, fast quilts. I love it. There's something to be said for that. So this is the one that we ended up doing together on TikTok. And it's more of that just hourglass shape. It was funny because I didn't want to use any mental capacity on picking any of the fabric. So I actually got layer cakes that were off Amazon. And yeah, they helped me pick out which ones we were going to do, and then I've got the backing fabric all ready to go, and I've got the batting here, so I'm actually ready to put it together. The last quilt that I didn't spray baste it or pin it or anything like that. I literally just laid it out on my living room floor and then rolled it up and then brought it over here and threw it over my shoulder. And I think I'm going to be doing that again. And I'm going to start by doing stitch and a ditch on like the outside of the squares, and then I might come back and either do the little X's, I'm not really sure, or I might practice doing free motion sewing. I'm not really sure yet. I think I'm going to let them vote on TikTok on which route they want to go. So that's what we've been doing throughout the whole quilt on that one. So it's been a fun group activity. I've enjoyed it. Fast, easy breezy, yep. That's what we want. The one that I haven't done yet that I really want to do is just a rag quilt. I think they're so cozy and they're so cute. And again, when you talk about something that's very forgiving, I mean, you're cutting it all up, so it really doesn't matter if something's off just a smidge. Which, it's so weird to hear me saying that because I'm a recovering perfectionist. I'm serious. Like, it's really, really hard for me to, if something's not lined up or whatever, and I'm like, nope. This sewing space is going to be so with the flow. We're taking intimidation away and throwing it out. Okay, so now because this is 3/8 of an inch, I'm going to put it back to a 1/4 inch, and then I'm going to do 2.4 for my stitch length. And I'm going to line up the edge of my foot with the fold of the fabric and make sure that I am sewing on the side where my seam is pressed. So I'm not doing it on the top part here, I'm actually doing it on the bottom. So we're going to go ahead and stitch, and do a little back stitcheroonie, and off we go. Exactly, so with the flow. Thank you. I was trying to figure out a name and I'm like, I think that is so cute. And so, punny. I like the punny, corny stuff. That is very, very me. So, it works. I hope it'll be enjoyable. But what I would love to see this space be is where people could go to my Facebook group and you could have the material list ahead of time so you could actually sew with me. So instead of hand sewing, you could be sewing this exact same project with me. And then we just come here and do it together and chit chat the whole time, because I always joke that during these lives on the other platform, since this is my first time on this one, but on the other platform, I'm like, I would really appreciate if you guys chat with me, because I can talk to myself, but I prefer not to. It's way more fun to learn about you, learn what you're sewing. The other thing that's really cool is you get so many awesome tips and tricks and everything. It's a great place to share, and you learn a lot of stuff. When I was working on the quilt, there was a lady that was sharing photos in my DMs afterwards where she provided different rulers and stuff that I'd never even seen before. They were really cool. So it's just fun. I love the sewing and quilting community, crafting in general. Like, my channel started as just a place to obviously share my hobbies. Right now I'm mainly in my sewing. I've been in my sewing era for a while, but I also love to bake, so you might see baking on my channel as well. I love to bake. Oh, because it's a prom dress. Now that, I have never done a prom dress or anything like super elegant or anything like that. So, talking about tips and tricks, you should join my Facebook group and show me pictures. Because you can't show them here, but that would be fun. That's the other thing that I love, where people can share what they're working on. It is a brand new Facebook group. it is a private group, so you actually have to request to join. It just asks you a couple questions like, what are you wanting to learn to sew, or some ideas, things like that, just to make sure you're not spam. And then, yeah, and then I'm just posting some stuff in there, asking people to share what they're working on, and then that's another space that I'm hoping that it grows. And that one is private, so you could get in right at the beginning. I think there's like 20 people in there right now, and a quarter of them are my sisters. I'm from a big family. But I'm so glad that you're joining me today. Alright, so now what we want to do, we're going to tuck in those handles, and we're going to flop this over right pretty size, and then we're going to match up these seams, or I should say, yeah, I guess it'd be a seam. So we're going to match that up, make sure those are nice and even, and then we'll pin from there. I'm actually going to take a pin. Usually I use clips on this, but I don't want it to scooch around. My other one scooched a little bit, so we're just going to kind of tack it like that, and then we'll clip. Do you prefer clips or pins? If you make bags and clothes, you probably like both like I do. They have their applications. Depends on what you're making. So if you're doing a prom dress, what are you hand sewing? Are you doing like beads or sequins or something like that? Or are you just in like really delicate areas? I didn't realize it was prom season right now. I don't even know if our area has an alteration place. Do you do like custom dresses from scratch, or like do you do more alterations? Alterations are an art. Like, I think it's so cool watching how people can make everything fit perfectly. I just think it's awesome. Okay, we're gonna match that side up as well. Both all kinds. Oh, that is so cool. Yeah, you totally should join my Facebook group and show me pictures. Share, please. Share, please. Make sure that lays flat. I probably should have eaten something before I did this. I haven't even eaten today. I'm going to be shaking and not making any sense. Nothing new. My man is at the motorcycle track today, supporting a friend that's racing, and I was like, I'm gonna sew all day, and then I promised my chiropractor I wouldn't do that, but I kind of want to. I kind of want to. Alterations. So you're one of those talented people. You're one of those talented people I'm talking about. That's so cool. Okay. So now we're going to switch it back to center needle position. So that again puts me at 3/8 of an inch for my machine. I'm gonna go sew right down the edges and placing my presser foot edge right next to the edge of my fabric, and we'll go to town. Speaking of coming from a big family, I let them know that I was doing my first live. I'm like, guys, if you're not bored, hop on. Especially so I can test the audio and see if I'm having issues. So that would have been helpful. But they're all skiing today. So I was like, bummer. They're up in Minnesota. And, well, actually, some of my family's from North Dakota, but they came to Minnesota to go for a skiing trip. So, which is kind of fun. I haven't been skiing in so many years. I don't even know if I'd be able to stay up anymore. I think I would. I might have to pizza my way down the hill, but it worked when I was little. It'll work now. I don't have my tailor's hand. That would be kind of nice to press open the seam. On my last one, I didn't do that, and when you go to attach the lining, it was a little bit difficult. I could probably make it work over here. Let's see. Oh, you know what? I can just press it. I have my little, where did I put that? This fabric tends to kind of stay in place. That'll work. You can see that it kind of stays open. We're going with it. We're going with it. Where am I at on time? Am I gonna be? Oh, I went over an hour. That's what happens when I'm chit-chatting. No, you can make this in under an hour. I'm not fitting. Go get some food, cheese, crackers, waters, grapes. You know, that all sounds lovely, but I don't think I have any of that in the house right now. I need to go shopping really badly. My husband was in Canada for 4 days, 3 days, 4 days, something like that. And it's like, if I don't have to cook, I'm like, I want popcorn. So I didn't go shopping. And he got home and then he had to like turn around and leave right away again to go help my friend. So it was just really funny. I'm like, yeah, about cooking. Not so much. But I will, I promise. After I'm done, I'll go get something to eat. I do have a little, be right back. Hey, we should test it out. Alright, we're just gonna press this open. Finger press. Okay. So this one, I'm not going to box the corners because I actually kind of like the look of it better. This is the one that we are making. It doesn't have the boxed corners, but I also made the one with the boxed corners, which you can do also. So easy peasy, but we can do that another day. Alright, so now that we've finished the top of it, now we're going to take the lining fabric, my ever beautiful piece of sheets. I'm just going to fold it pretty side to pretty side. We're going to fold it in half and then we're going to stitch 3/8 of an inch along both sides. So without having a microphone, Mona, can you hear me okay? I know you said it's fine now that I'm back on this microphone, but like, is it muffled or anything? Probably should just leave it alone. I don't know why the headset wasn't working. It worked great the other day on TikTok, but what do you know? What do you know? Inclined as to like and subscribe. That way you can see when I do my next Sew with the Flow. That would be awesome. And we can chit chat next time. I really appreciate you spending your afternoon with me. Like I said, I can talk to myself, but I prefer not to. This is way more fun. Maybe I'll throw a clip on here. We'll just put a couple of them. Make sure I'm on the fabric. Yesterday, I don't know why it made my bobbin jump so much. I was a little bit off the fabric and it was like hop, hop, hop. I was like, I'm sorry, little machine. I didn't mean it. Sometimes it's really happy and other times not so much. been sewing on my Janome for a while, but I kind of feel like getting those machines out as well and making sure they're in good working order. I actually really like those machines. My Juki is a straight stitch machine, and then my brother it's a computerized machine also, but yeah, I like them. I like mixing it up every once in a while. Aw, yeah, you'll be my company. I didn't expect anybody to be on today, like I said, since it is my first time on. I don't know how, like, the algorithms work or, like, how it even gets out. I have no idea, but for the longest time I've wanted to do it, and I'm like, if it's not perfect or something doesn't work, just gonna sew with the flow, right? And just like in sewing with technology, it sometimes works, sometimes doesn't. You just have to go with it. So now what we're gonna do is take our main piece and we are going to flip that right side out. Did you just happen to see mine pop up, or were you already subscribed to my channel? Fancy machines? I love this machine. I would consider this fancy. I really like this machine. It was definitely an investment, but my other machine, I think I got that one from Walmart, and that was actually a funny story because my husband and I wanted to make Halloween costumes, and he wanted to do the It costume, you know, the clown from the It movie. And he's like, well, let's make a costume. I'm like, we don't have a machine. So we ran to Walmart and grabbed a machine, and we went to Joann's, which is no longer, but went and got it, and then got all of the stuff and made the costume. It was awesome. We ended up selling it because we realized that there were a bunch of people selling like the collar for the clown outfit on eBay for a good chunk of money, like way more than what it was to make it. So we bought all of the accessories. We got the clown eyes, like the cat looking eyes, the creepy looking ones, and then he got the wig, and then we obviously made the full clown costume, the big necklace thing, and what else did we make? But we ended up, like, with the machine and everything, we spent like $350 or something like that, and we sold it for like $900. It was kind of funny. All right, so now we are flipping this right side out, and we're gonna leave our lining fabric as is, where the outside is up, but we are gonna take our pretty bag and we're going to shove it in there. Like these. All the way in there, and then we're going to tuck in our handles in between the two fabrics because we do not want to sew over those. And after that, we're going to tuck this side in also. And now we're going to match up our seams first. Gonna make that nice and neat, or nice and neat as I can. And clip there. Oh, you looked for a live. Awesome. Okay, so when you came onto YouTube, you just like searched sewing live? I need to learn all of this stuff. Because then I could try to put it in the description too. Maybe that would help people see it. We can have more people chit-chatting with us. Okay, so now that we have matched up the seams on the side, I'm just going to make sure that the two fabrics are lined up all the way around And I like to put the flat side of my clip on the lining side because I put that face down and it doesn't catch as badly. So, little tip there. I'm gonna do it like these. I don't need a ton. Usually once you get going and sewing in the round, you can kind of tug the fabric and it situates itself nicely. You can, if you create bags though, you know exactly what I'm doing here, where we're going to sew all the way around, leave an opening of about like 4 inches or so we'll be able to turn it out, and then we'll flip it all, and then tuck the lining into the pretty part. So we're gonna do it like this. I usually like to start about 4 inches or so. Actually, let's just start in the middle because that'll be easiest. We're just going to scooch this to the side. I'm gonna line. Let's see, how much space do I want? I think I'm gonna do 1/4 inch. I'm gonna do 1/4 inch all the way around, and then when we flip it, then we'll have a little more space for our presser foot. I'm just going with my decision. I was like, no, let's do 3/8. No, I'm gonna stick with 1/4. Oh, the way. Probably would have been actually easier to start about where I am right now. We're just gonna rotate it, and for anybody that hasn't sewn bags, it can look a little bit intimidating because you have all of this bulk right here, but you just have to worry about what's in that sewing space. So make sure that's nice and flat. Stop after you sew a couple of inches, adjust your fabric, sew a couple more inches. Stop, readjust, and sew again. Just like that. And this is what I was saying, like sewing in the round, you can kind of tug your fabric a little bit like this and it'll kind of match up for you. Oftentimes it makes it nice and easier. So if you need to, you can always mark like an X here with a marking utensil, but I'm gonna do my best not to forget. Mona, help me out. Be like, don't stitch all the way around. You know what happens. My tummy just growled. It's like, you didn't listen to Mona. She told you to go eat. Okay, so we're gonna do, we'll sew maybe 2 inches or so past the seam. Smaller, but that's fine. We're gonna back stitch because otherwise I pull it all out. We're gonna back stitch the back of that. And now we've left, so I don't know, maybe 4 inches or so. We left that hole here so we can work this out. We can just put our hand in and start flipping it right side out. You just kind of carefully take your time. If you leave a smaller hole like I did, then you just have to be careful so you don't rip everything, but I like usually leaving this size. I don't generally do a much larger than this. An open much larger than this. There, words. Making a mess here. I want some music. I wasn't sure how that all works because usually I'll put on like classical music or something in the background, but I didn't know how YouTube would react to that. For like copyright stuff. Alright, there we go. I'm gonna just kind of press this up a little bit. It'll help because we're gonna roll lining in. This just helps a little bit. Press it up. You can see our opening there. Okay, so now that we have those flipped right side out, we can open up our bag and just push the lining in. Bite-sized chocolate. That's a good idea. Oh, that is a great idea. Okay, so now, this is the part that just takes a little bit of finesse. You gotta kind of pull the fabric out a little bit and kind of roll it with your fingers. And then once we straighten this all out, you can clip it. Depending on the fabric, sometimes it's easier if you clip it. Other times it's not really necessary. Same for pressing. Sometimes you can get away with not pressing. Other times you have to. But again, it depends on the fabric. This one I think we're going to be okay without having to press it. But because I don't want to tweak my back, I'm going to scooch over this way just a little bit. I don't want to hurt myself further and then have to answer to my chiropractor. She's going to be like, you didn't listen to me. You didn't listen to me at all. So for the hole here, what we're going to do is just place our fingers in and fold the edge of the fabric in. This is where it is beneficial to do like that 3/8 of an inch. With it being a bigger seam allowance, it flips in easier. I kind of forgot about that. I should have done 3/8 of an inch. It doesn't hurt anything, it's just, it makes it a little bit easier. Oh, also with top stitching, yeah, I totally should have done 3/8 of an inch. Sorry. Yeah, I didn't think that through. I don't know why I decided to do 1/4 of an inch. I'm almost tempted to just flip it back. I ain't going to. We've already exceeded the hour anyway, Mona. I'm going to flip it back and go back around at 3/8 of an inch because otherwise when I flip it around and do the top stitching, it's not going to catch it unless I'm really close to the edge, and I don't like being that close. There we go, there we go. Might as well fix it now. Tuck it back in there. I like sewing with the lining on the outside. Okay, hope this doesn't make a really loud noise. Okay. I'm gonna put the handle back in. Now we're going to go back to center needle position and go back around. And we'll leave same opening, so we'll start in the same spot. There. Easy peasy. Now I don't even have to worry about clipping. I actually like sewing in the round. It's kind of fun. Like, stop, adjust. I really hope that you'll join my Facebook group so I can see pictures of your prom, your prom work. That'll be fun. Or any of your quilts that you've made. We'd love to see them. This is the fun part, where you just get to zoom, 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 zoom. Fast. That's the same for the top stitching at the end. You're like, it's so satisfying. You always think you're like done, and you're like, no, I still have to top stitch. So close. Okay, now we can put it back. Mona, are you on TikTok also? Because if you are, you should come on over and make the quilt with us. Okay, now there we go. Shove that in. Okay. I'm just going to use our fingers and kind of roll the fabric. Much better. Much better. Our little dead end road, it has a lot of cars on it today. I don't know what's going on. No TikTok yet? It's probably a good thing. It could be. I actually really love it for like recipes and sewing and everything. That you can definitely get into the doom scrolling. I think easier than YouTube. But it's fun. Speaking of that, I just looked up a recipe for red velvet cupcakes. I wanted to make those before my man got home. He's probably not going to be back until like 8, so I have plenty of time. I should take the cream cheese out though. I like working with room temp cream cheese. So this is what I was saying before, where you just put your fingers in and kind of tug it a little bit, and then it evens it out. There, matches up nicely. I pulled that a little bit too much. Little scissors. There goes my chapstick. I don't know what that's doing. It's a secret. Do you ever use stuff you have around the house to create? Like, I've used sheets on several occasions for either like a lining like I'm doing now, or I've actually used it for a back of a quilt too. It was a smaller quilt, and it was a Christmas quilt, and it was more red and silver based, and I'm like, a sage green works, because the red and gray were kind of muted. They weren't like vibrant red, so it all worked together, I think anyway. Although some fabrics, like, I would never put together, and then they just look absolutely gorgeous. When I talk about different talents and stuff, that's another one where people that can look at the different combination of fabric, put them all together and make something beautiful, is pretty awesome. Okay, got it where we're rolling. Rolling, rolling, rolling. I need to figure out how to get my my computer right here so I can see the comments right away, because I'm always like, oh no, can't see them. So what I like to do now, we have it all clipped along, and we're going to sew it. We also are going to stitch that hole shut as well. Now we're gonna go at 1/4 inch, because then it'll catch the 3/8 of an inch. That's what I was thinking before. I don't know why I did that backwards. We're gonna go ahead and do a 2.4, and we can start right here. Just make sure that your handles are out of the way, because we're gonna stitch all the way around. I'm gonna start over here, slide that foot in, and I'm just going to place the edge of the fabric right there. I switched my needle over where now it's going to be a 1/4 inch. And we're just going to go all the way around the whole thing. And then we will be done. And I didn't do it in an hour. But it can be done in an hour. I promise. Especially if you make more than one. After you've made one, you're like, you can knock them out pretty quickly. When I made this on TikTok the other night, I was like, I haven't made this in a really long time. I don't have patterns, so we're just gonna wing it and hopefully it all comes together. And it came out fine, so I was like, sweet. I'm gonna do a video. Or a live. Probably should write all this stuff down, right? Maybe that's it. I can put a PDF in the Facebook group with the instructions. We're so close. We're so close. So close. Make sure that that is out of the way. Although I'm not nearly as scared of my seam ripper as I used to be. I used to hate using my seam ripper. I don't know, it felt like I failed or something, which is so silly. But now the seam ripper has become my friend. If I make an oopsie, it's an oopsie, it's fine. We're just gonna fix it and move on. I think that's why alterations intimidate me, because like you're altering somebody's clothes and it's like, what if you make an oopsie? What do you do, Mona? You just like, I'm sorry, I tried. I would love to take a sewing class on garment sewing. Like, I do garment sewing, but I've never taken a class on like patterning and just learning like creating it from scratch. I can follow a pattern, but I would love to be able to make my own. I'll trace previous clothes, like if it fits me well or something, I'll be able to make a pattern from that, but just from scratch, I've not done. I think we're all done. There we go. We did it. Let's see. I'm gonna have a mess here. I didn't turn that one off. There we go. You can see my mess. We did it, Mona. It took us a little over an hour, but we did it. But anyway, if you are interested in more beginning sewing projects, I know you're not a beginner, but if you are, beginner sewing projects, or you just feel like chit-chatting and hanging out with me again, I would absolutely love it for you to join my next live. Then I don't have to talk to myself. But I hope you have a wonderful afternoon, and I hope I'll see you next time. And if you're on TikTok later, just let me know. Be like, I'm Mona from YouTube. But hopefully I'll see you over in my Facebook group as well. I'd love to see your photos, and yeah, until next time, happy sewing. Talk to you later.